Today is a big day because this is something that I feel like we've been literally trying to get to the end of this, and we are finally at the end of the book doing the last review for this. And I just think this is very intriguing that we finally get to the end of the book, even though yes, I do want to talk about why this is very interesting and could be inspiring for people and stuff like that, instead of listening to me bicker about why I think this is a very interesting book or inspiration and stuff like that. So let's get to the actual topic of this video, which is Go Ackman. And yes, this is the final chapters for the story, and it is very intriguing from chapter 9 to 11. So let's talk about it. So to start out with Go Ackman, the first story is pretty much all about where Ackman has to do errands for his mother, has to pay off a little debt to the Demon King because they have to do this, like, I guess monthly or something like that. He goes and delivers it to the Demon King, which Demon King is kind of just subtle, I guess, if you want to call it. And then he kind of just bickers away about like how he used to get lots of them before instead of now it's always a little bit. But then as Ackman is leaving after hearing his little bickering, he probably meets up with a girl named Witchney, and she has a whole stack of souls to give to the Demon King. And he's telling her, oh, well, if you killed all of them, you don't get a lot of money and all this stuff. And she kind of was like playing it off, saying like, look, there's a way you can do this and all that stuff, and you can make lots of money doing it this way. And sure enough, she did. The Demon King apparently, after his whole bickering about why he wasn't getting a lot of souls, got lots of souls from her specifically, and went from being an old demon to a buff demon guy that looks like he's probably back in his 20s. Didn't know that's how it works in the demon world, so. But then after giving the Demon King the souls, Ackman is all jealous that she got more money and everything, and sure enough, the only way to solve problems, apparently, is to say, will you marry me? And man, oh man, did it ever work, because she passed out. But while that's happening at the moment, we go to the Angel in the next chapter, where he is doing a Rocky montage, if you want to call it. He is literally training hard, he is doing pretty much anything you could think of just to get him big and jacked and just strong enough to fight Ackman, because that is his priority and that's the only way he wants to actually win. So even though he did all that and got all built and everything, after 1 full year, he calls Ackman out to the wasteland and probably said, look, we're gonna fight one way or another, and this time I have the advantage because I am super strong and there's no way you're gonna defeat me. But as we've learned from the last couple of chapters, Ackman has always something up his sleeve. And he knows so much of how to win a fight. And sure enough, just like the last time, he pulls an Indiana Jones on the Angel, except this time only skins the guy instead of actually shooting him right in the forehead. But even though he skinned him with the bullet, he cries and gets angry and pretty much says that the next time they see each other, he's going to become a gunslinger. So we'll see how that goes, I guess. But unfortunately, he's not in the next chapter, so will we see him ever again? Who knows? But then we get to the actual final chapter where Ackman is in the city and meets up with Witchner once again. And this time, he's probably telling her this time, like, look, you're busy right now collecting souls and fighting with the police officers and all that right now, but I still would like to get married to you one way or another. So even though she's trying to tell this kid to say, hey, look, go away, I have a boyfriend, I am twice your age, I am 455 years old, and you're only 200 years old, so that's a lot of years difference. But the one solution that came to his head was, what if I beat up your boyfriend? Why is this a thing? Okay, seriously. But anyway, she accepts the challenge, and sure enough, the boyfriend she has is another Deborah, but like a motorcyclist instead. Except the only thing though I do want to say is I feel like this one is more dumber than the other ones. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But anyways, as they start to fight, it really ends off very shortly, right after like 2 hits. Probably the guy tries to hit Ackman, which probably deflects, and he gets headbutted by Ackman and knocks him out cold, which then kind of triggers a thing in Witchner, which now she's in love with Ackman out of nowhere over a headbutt. if that's apparently how things work in the demon world on how to get a relationship, then okay, that's really cool. But then anyways, I guess after some time they got married, and on the first night after getting married, Ackman already wants a divorce, and she's already head over heels for him right there and wants him so badly that he's running away. He's literally saying that, yeah, we shouldn't have got married in the first place and this was a bad idea. So I don't know if you want to call this a happy ending or something, but this is definitely something of a love story with twist, if you want to call it that way. But the thoughts about the last 3 chapters I do want to point out is they're not that bad, but I do have to give it a 7 out of 10. Yes, this is not as great as I wanted it to be, but also it's not that bad because I love how it is, just a story in general, and Ackman and the angel and stuff like that, and it's just a really good story. The only thing I will say though about these last 3 chapters is that it could have been a lot better. Story with Ackman and the girl was a little different. I felt like there was definitely some fillers that should have been filled in, unfortunately. It was missing some stuff from both chapters, but to have the angel in it was really awesome, and to see him get like super buff and do that montage, like I said, I think that's really cool. Overall, it's a great story. I really enjoy it. It's definitely something that you guys might like. I do want to say that Akira Toriyama made amazing stories out of this book. Like, I do want to say, this was the longest out of the whole book. Like, this is a part 3 to this story. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I was doing part 1s and that just for each chapter. I did 3 parts just because of how long this thing is. Like, the stories are longer than every other story in this book. And, man, I do have to say, doing a review of this whole book and going through all the stories and all that, especially at the beginning where I was getting a little concerned of like what I was going to get into, because I was wondering like how good the stories are going to be, especially since I'm so used to Dragon Ball stuff and that. And to go through his stories, especially from like when he was really young to now, I do have to say was definitely an interesting experience. And it's definitely something I do want to point out that if anybody is a fan of Akira Toriyama's work, I recommend just picking up a book like this and just going through it. Most of the stories are very short, and like you're gonna go through this book probably in no time, probably way faster than I did with the reviews. But overall, the book is awesome, and I just love how you see the progress from Akira Toriyama, and I think it's very interesting, and this was very inspiring, I do want to point out, to anybody who loves or that is very invested into somebody's work, that if checking out what they've done over the years, especially like having Akira Toriyama go from, you know, staying at home to having like a little job on the side just so he can make a few bucks here and there so he can write stories. I think that is very clever to see something like this. And I love the inspiration that like goes in this book, because you're seeing everything that he put in his work, from stories that maybe weren't great at the start to now, like he's got it on the dot. Like he knows how to make a story. He knows how to make really good manga like panels and stuff like that, just to have characters in it. Like you can tell that his progress over the years are phenomenally amazing, and I think it's really cool to just go through this book and do a review for it, and it's kind of like an honor. I think it's very amazing to even take the chance to go through his progress. Like, I remember when I found out about Saiyan Land for the first time, I thought that was very intriguing that he even had that story, and that's what made me get to this, was I wanted to see more of his stories. And because of that, I really appreciate his work and effort that he's done over the years, because it, like I said, it shows that he put progress into his work. And like I said, if there's anybody that you are inspired by, or whatever the case is, like looking at their work and progress they've done over the years, it doesn't have to be a book like this, it could be anything. But I'm just saying, like, looking at somebody's work that you're very inspired with definitely can come in handy on just your own progress, if you want to call it. And I think that's very intriguing to think of it that way. Maybe you're not there right away, but also at the same time, you never know what could happen. So, and I think it's a really intriguing book, and I just think it's really awesome. So, but anyways, guys, hope you guys are watching. Hit like for more, subscribe new, of course, and thank you all for even watching any of my manga reviews personally, because I think this is really awesome and very intriguing to even do, because like I said, it's an honor to just do reviews on his books and just see where things go from there. And I know there's Aurelian stuff. The manga for Dragon Ball Super is technically still going, but I don't know when we're ever going to get back to it, of course. So we'll see what happens, of course, until the time being. But other than that, guys, like I said, hope you guys are watching. Hit like for more, subscribe new, of course, and I will see you all, of course, in the next videos. Leave suggestions down below if there's anything that you guys want me to do, because like I said, we are officially done the manga theater book. We are fully done doing all the stories, so I guess it's time to see what the next thing is on the plate. So anyways, guys, take care. Have a good day.